Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Cooper. Thank you so much for checking out the From the Captain's Quarters podcast. It is brought to you by Captain Coop's Beard and Body Company. For all of your beard needs, whether it's oil, balm, or butter, we've got you covered. And our CBD line, our Queen's Treasures line, is amazing. CBD products, we're talking lotions, body balms, lube, yeah, like that. And also, if you're tattooed, we got you taken care of with our tattoo balm as well. All you have to do to save 10% is go to the website, CaptainCoops.com. Use the promo code podcast at checkout. Get your 10% off. Enjoy our products and live like a pirate, the pirate way, on your own terms. The show is also brought to you by Appear on Northfields. You know, we talked about CBD stuff. If you're looking for tinctures, or if you're looking for some body stuff, or if you're looking to go into that D8 or D9 realm of things, Appear on Northfields is the place to go and check it out. Formerly known as Everything Hemp LLC, proud sponsors of the show. If you go there to the website, right now it's everythinghempllc.com, or you can find Appear on Northfields on social media, link up with them, check out all their great products because they are doing things the right way. Appear on Northfields, proud sponsors of the From the Captain's Quarters, a podcast. You always wonder, like, how do you find a level of a man that has reached just this pinnacle of his industry? And I figured out, when you have the likeness of your face on a line of T-shirts, I think that's it. I think once you have like an unmistakable outline of somebody's face on a T-shirt, and everybody knows that's Dennis Wood from Teraflex, I feel like you've reached that point, Dennis. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I guess if having your mug on a shirt, yeah, that was a news to me when they pulled that out. I'm like, oh, great. Jeez.
You weren't involved in that process?
No, that was a, and we made this, and we'll start something like, whoa, wait a minute. Jeez. I'm like, we're going to get stuck with a bunch of those. We're going to have those things piled up in here, and how are we ever going to get rid of them?
Maybe like what they do after the, with the losing team at the Super Bowl, they ship them overseas.
No kidding.
But Dennis, master of all things Teraflex, is on the podcast today. Super excited. We have a great partnership with Teraflex and Max Built, and I'm super excited to talk to you because I come from media. So I was in radio for like 2 decades, and just kind of started to get into, with my position at Max Built, into the off-road industry, really starting to understand like the pieces, the parts, what all goes into it. And in a 6-month period of time, it's become like super evident across the board. Like Teraflex is the big dog in the game. And because of like the quality is insane. We just put the Alpine lift on my JK. Yesterday we put the Nebo roof rack on the JK. And
let me just say how honored I am that you guys put the Nebo roof rack and did an expert and a beautiful install to celebrate my birthday. That means so much to me.
Well, we were going to wait, but then we knew it was your birthday. We're like, well, now we have to get to it. We're also up against a bit of a time crunch as we leave on an overlanding adventure next week. But like, what is it about the passion level that you guys have over there at Teraflex about really understanding the industry, really understanding what the consumer needs, to go out and to overland or to wheel or to, rock crawl, whatever. Where does that passion come from?
It's interesting. You're sitting here and you're saying, Teraflex is the big dogs and all this. And it's so funny because I've been, here with Teraflex for a lot of years, and somehow we don't feel it. We don't think of ourselves as this epitome of greatness or whatever. I don't feel that at all. There's some great companies out there that, we go to shows and we all mingle, and some great guys and stuff that are out there in the industry. But I think that down to earth family thing that we have here kind of keeps us in the game so that we can keep our thumb on the pulse of what's happening out there in the industry. We got guys out there. We're up to, what do we have? 30 employees or
Wow.
whatever, something like this. It's grown so much in the last few years. But anyway, there's guys that are hardcore rock crawlers. There's guys that are, overlanders. There's somebody in each one of these niches. We got the mall crawlers, the guys that just don't really off-road at all, but they need their Jeep to look good and drive nice. So we've got that faction. So we need to have something that can work for each one of those groups and accomplish what they need it to do. And that's a trick. And I think having all those different groups working together here makes it so, it keeps us honest.
And there's got to be a lot of then feedback that you get. You talk about keeping your pulse on what each individual wants for their particular needs and what their particular interests are. Do you think the fact that you do have kind of that rooted boots on the ground, communicating with, people that are out doing this every day really helps that ingenuity and keeps, the ideas flowing in and like, oh, well, we designed this way, but we've gone out and we talked to people and they say maybe they want it this way. Is that really assisted as far as not getting way above above the room too much and being able to go we're down here on the ground level, really understanding what people are wanting and needing?
Yeah, it's the whole business philosophy. Now, this is going to come as a shock. A lot of people aren't going to know this, but I don't own Teraflex. And everyone's like, what? I thought you owned it. Well, I actually merged my business with them many moons ago. And then over the years, they bought me out. And now I'm just happily ever after, doing this kind of stuff, which I just love. But anyway, one of the things that we did here is we made Jeeps available to a lot of the key people in the company. So we have a fleet of all different, JKs, JLs, JTs, and they're all built according to what that person wants their Jeep to be. So what that does is it now gives us, engineers that are driving Jeeps every day that maybe normally wouldn't be or couldn't afford it, whatever, but we hook them up with a Jeep, totally build the thing how they want it to be. And then they can go and drive that thing. And that gives us input from, 30 plus people out there driving these different Jeeps. And some of the departments will switch them around. And some of us have a Jeep that we just, pretty much use for our own. But at any rate, it gives us a chance to, these guys all get in the seat of a Jeep and drive different ones. And what do I like? What do I not like? Mm-hmm. And then we can talk about it. We can make changes. And, on my Jeep, if I just had some kind of a bumper that would clear my spare, whatever it is. There's all kinds of fun products that are out there that people they find a need for because they're driving the Jeep and using it.
That's got to be super important and super helpful because, real life experience, you can't duplicate that. In a shop somewhere, in a warehouse somewhere, has to get out and really experience what its capabilities are. Now, it's as far as you personally, we'll jump back a little bit. Like, when did the Jeep world, the off-road world, enter your life? Has this been something that D Wood has just been into? Like, you came out and just all right, you find me some hubs that lock in and let's find some mud and cause some trouble. Like, where did it all begin for you?
It all started back in the what would that have been? Early 70s. I got a Ford F-150, a Bronco or just an F-150 pickup that, and I lifted it and put 35s on it and blah, blah, blah. So that kind of got me going on it. And then I built a Bronco, was that a 90 and lifted that and all, it was all this really nice Bronco. And I went to Moab with it for Easter Jeep Safari in this, and of course I was shunned and stuff, but anyway, I show up in this Bronco and I do my thing. And then they have this raffle at the end of the event. If you sign up for the trails, you get a ticket and I go in. Well, during this raffle, I win a set of, they were those old Rancho RS 9000 shocks that with the air adjust and stuff on them, So just big old white body, just not tuned, they're just for whatever, but they were adjustable. So anyway, I win these shocks that fit a Jeep and I go home and I'm like, well, shoot, I need something to put these shocks on. So I buy a Jeep, of course. What would you do, So, and that's where it all started.
Do you have
a little white wig? Yeah, go ahead.
Now, do you have through that experience, which I think is great? Well, I have these shocks. I have to find something. I can't just have them. I have to find something to put them on. where is your favorite like place to go, or was it your favorite place to go? Maybe it still is. Out in Utah and stuff like that. You have, I mean, there's a plethora of areas out there to go and get a chance to explore. But do you have like a favorite area that you're like, I love when we get a chance to go here? Obviously, we're a couple of weeks away from EJS down in Moab, but there's places all over the country that you can get out and explore. Do you have a certain like areas of the country you're like, well, when I'm up in the Midwest, I like to go hang out with the Max Built fellas and cause trouble up there?
It's interesting because it's every area is so different, because like, what's the best area? Well, I don't know. You can't say best, favorite. It depends on what you're trying to do, because I mean, you can go down to New Mexico and everything on that trail has a sharp edge on it. Every rock, every obstacle is straight up, then just flat across the top. Just break over angles is just, you've got to just have a huge old Jeep. So those guys build them with a lot of lift on them so they can get over those breakovers. Then you go back east and you go out to Roush Creek and go through that off-road park out. It's really a nice park. It's a lot of fun stuff on there, boulders, and you're dodging trees and stuff. So you're going to build it a little different for that area. And that's a fun spot down in Texas. Shoot, there's so many. Because we live in Salt Lake, it gives us the whole Utah thing, which we have a lot of areas close. So if I would say, just because they're close, obviously Moab's always a great advantage. Moab's getting kind of crazy down there. It's getting so well known and busy, just with all the different events that they bring into town. But the trails are still good. You can get on the trail and you get out of the fray and still have a great time down there. And Moab's obviously great. But down in southern Utah, St. George area, they have a place called Sand Hollow down there, which is really getting to be a well-known little park down there. A lot of sand and some just amazing wheeling. So if I'm going to do a quick one, that's like 4 hours from here. So we can go down and spend the weekend down there and do some wheeling. And it's warmer, so we can do that in the wintertime and still get out and use them. So I really like that area. But the thing with this job I have with Teraflex is we get to go all over the world. Yeah. So we've wheeled Japan and Australia, and each one of these places, I mean, Australia, that's just crazy. That's like that's the overlander's dream, the outback stuff where they can just go out and just go for miles out there. Those guys, they invented that, that's let's go out and walk about, I guess. But even China, I've been over there and done some wheeling, and those guys have come a long way. They got some serious trails. Africa, we went into South Africa, and those guys took us out for a week and took us all through the game preserves and Swaziland and all that. Just gorgeous. So sometimes you want to just wheel hard. Sometimes you want to go out in the middle of nowhere and see stuff, So, we always send them a suspension or something to put on a Jeep, because we're going to go shoot a video about it when we get there. Yeah. So we'll have this Jeep all loaded up and we'll go out and just wheel with them. So I guess it's a long story, but it's hard to say what area or what is one of your favorites. Probably just because it's close. I like the Sand Hollow, and it's also awesome too. But that's a tough one, because every area has its own little thing, and man, they're all great. And Jeepers, shoot, you show up. It doesn't matter where you're from. You show up, you got a Jeep, they got a Jeep, we're friends. Yeah. They'll take you out and show you their areas. They're so proud of it. And it's just an awesome community.
Has it always been this global? I mean, it feels, was there a point maybe, throughout your career where you noticed like, this isn't just something that's, North America, exclusive. Yeah. It is everywhere. Was that recent? Was there a turning point where that all kind of shifted to be more of a global thing?
Yeah. I think there is, because it's that when they came out with the Ford or that JK thing, I mean, we all felt that in the industry. It just all the 40-somethings that always wanted a Jeep that could never have one because their wife said, no, we can't get the kids in it. Right. Now they've got 4 doors and they can have a Jeep. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that. And the way it went worldwide with the JK getting out there, And then it just continued on, there was 10 years of that. And then it goes to the JL and then the Gladiator. And so that little mark, that 07, 08, that I think that's when it really started opening up. I mean, I've always had in the Philippines, they've always had CJs from the war left over in France. Oh my gosh, those guys have got some Willies that are just restored to perfection. Every shovel and every rope, it's so amazing. They do a great job with them. But anyway, so you've always had that, but it just got big with that JL or JK.
Yeah. And have you noticed over the course of, let's just not pinpoint an exact time, but let's say like March-ish of 2020, have you noticed, an increase in interest, like even just stateside or even on the global scale of people finding, like, people looked for hobbies when kind of the world shut down? Did you notice that one of those hobbies that maybe some of those, because as you were talking about that JK, like the JK is getting to the point now where it's somebody upgraded to a JL or a Gladiator, and now they have the JK, and they're like, well, I have this JK, we should do some stuff to it. Did you notice a big kind of uptick as kind of the pandemic things happen and people were like, we're looking for stuff to do and we have time to do it, so let's go wheeling?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
We look at the growth that we've had, and I think it's industry wide, but the growth just since pandemic time, when that started out, initially it was like, oh my gosh, and we're all just pulling on our reins. We're like, here we go, we're gonna have to buckle up, this is gonna get really nasty. And so we got all lean and everything and ready to go. And then what are you gonna, you're a Jeeper, you're sitting at home and you got this Jeep sitting out in your driveway, and you got some, they're raining some cash down on you.
Mm.
What are you going to do? You're going to throw it at your Jeep. And that's exactly what happened. It's just, people are, it's what an awesome project for them to be able to go out and, put some stuff on their Jeep, load up the family, and go out and use it, get out of the house, go do some stuff. It's just been wow, for the whole Jeeping community. What an escape. What a great way for us to get out and use our Jeeps.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed and love about Teraflex in particular is, even for somebody who's like, I don't know, I was in radio for 20 years, I just talked to people and I sold air. The way that Teraflex, the way you lay things out as far as the instructions goes, I mean, down to the packaging, it feels like, and the videos, which, by the way, starring Dennis Wood, most of them, he's the star installer. At least I was watching, I watched the Nebo install like 4 or 5 times to try to figure it out. But it's, you guys, it's not just here's a box of stuff, good luck, or take it somewhere and get it fixed, or take it somewhere to get it installed. It's laid out so in layman's terms that people like that have that Jeep sitting out there that's been stock, since they bought it in 2015, like they go, wow, like this, I think I can figure this out. Obviously, it helps if you have a hoist and some other some of the tools of the trade and stuff. But really well done for even the layperson.
Yeah, well, that's really good to hear. I'm glad to hear you say that. But it's always a process to keep refining and making things better. But that's one of the things that's fun about a Jeep. You can go out and tinker on it. And a lot of this stuff we can make a bolt on to where a guy can, shoot, they'll be in little clubs and stuff. I hear it all over the country. Yeah. Me and my buddies, we put this Jeep, this lift on over the weekend, and we had my computer set up over there, and they'll come to show, and they're like, we put my lift on with you for the last 2 days. So I feel like I know you, we've been talking about this lift. So it's really cool. I just think it's awesome. People can work on them, and have fun.
Where do you see, I mean, the industry obviously has expanded, like we talked about, over the course of the last 3 years, and people really getting more involved, having these hobbies and realizing a lot of cool stuff is like right outside of your door. There was a lot of people were kind of living in this shell of, well, I get up and I go to work, and then the weekends I do this. But when you have that time and you do a little research, and you can find, like you kind of mentioned when we talked about where's your favorite place to go, like there are places, an hour away, 2 hours away, 3 hours away, and they find this new sense of adventure. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's drug-like, but the addiction to Jeeping and wheeling is always that, like, oh, we made it through this, like this level 1 trail. It was really nice, great scenery, and we found this cool place to park and place to camp. And then they find level 2. And then it's
it's so true.
It is the escalation of, put a lift on, 35s, maybe 37s, maybe some different fenders. And what do I need a winch for? What do I need this bumper? Like, it just keeps on growing. Do you feel that same way? Like there is an addiction to things?
I'll be just being able to go out to shows and stuff. You get to talk to people, and there's just a newbie that comes in. I just got this Jeep and I've never had one. I'm so excited about it, but I don't want to do too much with it. I just want to go down some light trails, maybe put some 33s on it. And in my mind, I'm just laughing because I'm like, that's what you think. Yeah, you wait till you get out there and you see that those 33s aren't making you happy. And then I'll get the guy that says, I'm trying to go, do I do 35s or should I put 37s? And I just say, no one's ever unhappy, or no one has ever told me they went too big on their tires. It seems like they always just manage to find a place to use them. So anyway, yeah, absolutely. People, we start little and it just keeps going. The other one I laugh at is when the guy, yep, I got it all done. Right.
Yeah, that takes one glance at somebody else's rig that has something and you go, oh, well, like,
yeah, exactly.
Where'd you get that? That seems nice. What's the install process like? Like, yeah, we see a lot of that, especially around the shop. Same conversation too. Guy comes in, I got a Jeep and I want to, just something a little, beef it up a little bit. And sometimes it's just for aesthetics. They just want kind of that, little upgrade from the stock look. And that's when they'll sit down and there's a pamphlet or something laying out right here, and they just start and all of a sudden they got their pen out and they're like, you just know that the foresight is, well, this person is going, they're going to go big. But the thing about it is the return on investment is like memories that you can't script. Like, you can't write a weekend away with the guys, with the family, with a Jeep crew. Like, you can't. That's tough to put a price tag on when you have those experiences. Then you just want more of them.
You're so right. That's it's like, that's why we have a Jeep. Everybody's like, I don't know if I can afford it. Okay, to drive it or whatever. But they're so versatile. It just gives us it doesn't matter if you're going to go out and camp, if you're going to go fishing, if you're going to go wheeling, if you just want to go over there and see what that is. So versatile. It's just they're just a fun vehicle.
Yeah, I got my first Jeep, my JK, 6 years ago, because my radio station had a Jeep, and I was like, this would be cool to have one of these. Just tool around in. We had one kid at the time, and it was like, oh, this is great. It's got room. It's not a minivan. I feel it's not a small SUV. I still feel like I have a little sense of dignity in it. And then the Jeep Wave thing, like, I didn't know, but then when I found out, like that real sense of this is a community thing. Like, there's not like a small car Wave, there's not like a minivan like high five. There's usually like screaming children in the back. But the Jeep Wave, I think, really ties in this real sense of community and family and bond. And you can go and somehow, some way, through the magnetic forces of the world, if there's a Jeep in a parking lot at the grocery store, there's 2 Jeeps parked next to each other in the parking lot at the grocery store.
Yeah, especially if you're in a big old Jeep that's all built and the other one is a little Jeep.
I used to be little Jeep guy, but not for very much longer, Dennis. Not for very much longer. We're about for 3 days from getting this completed, which is good because we're heading out west. Actually, we're heading your direction next Friday morning. So it'll be fun. Cool. It'll be done. Crunch time. But there is a magnetism to the Jeeping community. And again, like we talked about, it leads you down a path of good addiction rather than all the negative stuff that's out there at this point.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, we talked a little bit about how the escalation of the pandemic kind of really amped up, things for you guys and people getting into it, and really an expansion of wheeling, of jeeping, of getting out and exploring places. Now we're kind of in this 2022 world where the shows are starting to come back. We talked about Easter Jeep Safari coming up amongst, starting last weekend, basically through the end of the year. There's something somewhere going on that's Jeep related. What does your calendar look like for your team in 2022? Is it, are we going to have some sleepless nights for you, for your fellers and your ladies out there?
Yeah, we're pretty much, we got, let's see, 2 builds. One of the Jeeps isn't even here yet that we wanted to get built to have down to Safari. So yeah, it's like, it's such a surprise. Who knew that Safari was coming? So yeah, it's always crunch time, but I really think that everybody's kind of been out of the, getting together thing for the last year or two, so I think that the show season, just getting the Jeepers out to just hang out together and, do some things, I think it'll be a pretty good year for us for the Jeepers, so that we can get out and just wheel with each other and use our Jeeps for what we build them for.
They look really pretty sitting in the parking lot. Oh, we should go and utilize them. Do you have, like, when you're at these shows, and we'll use Easter Jeep Safari as the example, like, what do you love getting out and going on the trails? Do you like kind of that commingling that you mentioned, with kind of some of the other brands that are out there, obviously with the, the fans that are there too?
Yeah, like Jeep Safari is kind of a unique event because, you are right there in Moab. So the first half of the week is just trail runs with the Red Rock 4-wheelers that put on they put on an amazing event. These volunteers that just spend so much time, just hats off to these guys. They just put on an awesome event. But so we'll sponsor a couple of trails. So as a Teraflex, and so we'll go on those trails with them and pass out shirts and badges and whistles, and so we do our thing with them. But we'll do that for a couple of days, and then the actual vendor show is Thursday and Friday. They still have trail runs, but usually the vendors we wind up getting kind of locked into the booth there for a couple of days so people can come by and say hi. So that one's nice because you get to do both. Just for fun, that one up in Colorado, they do the same thing. They wheel all week, and then they just say, nobody goes wheeling from 8 o'clock till 1 o'clock today, and we'll have a vendor show. And so everybody goes to the vendor show, we shut it down and go wheeling again. So it's awesome.
Now I got to know, like, when's the Teraflex party? When are we going to hang out and, solve all the world's problems and not tell anybody about it?
That's Wednesday night down there, the week of Easter Jeep Safari. Nice. We'll be down at Portal RV, just having a little meet and greet down there. So yeah, absolutely. We'd love to save you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a great year. We're super excited to get back out, and obviously I can't wait to get, I've been looking at my Jeep on a hoist for a week and a half now. Which has been great. Just watching the process kind of evolve, and there's much more things that needed to be done to it. Big brake kits going on. We put new gears in it, so all the bits and pieces are coming together. But to get it out and put it to what it's made to do, I'm beyond excited to get out, not only to Easter Jeep Safari, but to all the events we have planned for 2022.
Yeah, good deal.
Awesome. Well, Dennis, man, I can't wait to hang out. I gotta order my Dennis Wood outline T-shirt so that I can fit in at the party. And no, we're super excited. Any big things that you guys? I know we talked about events, but I did want to ask. You guys kind of cover everything. From the front end of a Jeep to the back end of the Jeep and vehicles in between. Like, do you have things that you are releasing, debuting in 2022? New products? Anything that you wanted to mention so people are aware?
Yeah, well, for sure. We got, we did the Nomad wheel thing. Yeah. And so we got some different Nomad, with the air downs built into them, which has really been great. That's been a great little wheel. So we got some different versions of those. We'll have our, for the Gladiators, we've got a lot of stuff for the JT, the Gladiator, our extended travel system for the rears. Even the Mojave Gladiator had 10 inches of travel. These guys have got 16 inches of travel in the rear. So it really opens up that Gladiator to both flex and just going through the whoops and stuff. So that just gives them a nice ride, even for the guy that's loading it up and going overland. Just to have that extra bit of control. So we got that coming in. Axle wise, we'll see some stuff coming in for the JL in the front there, and what else? The 60s, obviously all the way around for them, for the JLs, JTs. The lifts, we've got all our lifts are pretty much going now. The on the Falcon side, the Falcon shocks, we're all under Teraflex. We're the same deal, but we just call them like our Falcon shock division. We finally didn't have room for them, and we put them in this new building next door. So they're in this, I don't know what that's 100,000 square footer, but it's just full of CNC mills. And you guys get down here, I'll take you through it. It's crazy. So just spotless, it's really cool to see how those Falcon shocks are built, just, from a chunk of aluminum.
Yeah. Trust me, I got
the other end.
I got those piggybacks on there, and
Good.
Literally took them out of the box and held them like you hold your first child. It was the strangest. There's a picture of it somewhere on the internet. I'm just like, and then my favorite part, obviously, besides the performance, the remove before flight sticker is just. I'm like, yeah. My boss Phil is like, let's jump it. I'm like, just wait, just one moment, please. But no, super fantastic product. I'm super excited to get. It makes me just want to get on the road sooner than later. Awesome.
Right.
Hey, Dennis, thanks for taking some time out, man. I really appreciate it. It's great to see your face or chat face-to-face-ish via the world of the internet, but we're going to do it in real life coming up in just a couple of weeks at Easter Jeep Safari. We'll get on the hang, and who knows, maybe end up on a trail somewhere.
Sweet. Let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dennis.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime. If you have any new products dropping, just give me a shout, and we'll get you back on the show, and we'll talk about it. We'll blow things up.
Nice. All right, we'll do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. Take care of yourself, man.
All right, thank you.
Wood out. Dennis Wood. Teraflex.com is the website. If you're into off-roading, if you want to start exploring off-roading, start with the best. Start with Teraflex. It is Cooper. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Don't forget, wherever you are listening to this program, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever, be sure to subscribe, be sure to download and share with your friends, because that is how we help grow this show. We can do more cool stuff, like talking to Dennis freaking Wood from Teraflex. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Check us out on social media as well, from the Captain's Quarters podcast, all across all social platforms. Peace!